You can improve tremendously in your art without actually having to make more art than you're doing right now. And you guys must be wondering, how is that impossible? But Derek, everyone says just draw more, draw every day, all of that. And you keep trying to force yourself to make more art and you may not be seeing progress. But I got you guys. So here are 5 very underrated tips on how to improve as an artist that do not involve the topic of making more art. Okay. Tip number 1 is to talk to people outside art. Now, getting new perspectives equals better ideas. Sometimes we get too caught up in the sphere of just looking at the YouTubers we look up to and are comfortable with, or talking to just other artists in our communities, that we sometimes miss out on a bunch of great and fresh ideas, perspectives, things about life that we can get just by talking to other people. Sometimes talking to other artists just becomes like a mirror to ourselves and it just reinforces some of our own beliefs. But honestly, my life has improved a lot the more I open up to people who are outside this space. For example, I've been introduced to sports like badminton, swimming, even running, or even certain video games, movies, types of entertainment. All of that, which always adds back to your life as an artist, gives you fresh ideas. And sometimes you might just get genius ideas on artworks you can make or problems you can solve with your art that you would never get otherwise. Okay, so talk to more people. Now, step number 2 is to fix your sleep. I do not mean to wake up early, sleep early, all of that. You can sleep when you want, but get the good amount of sleep that you need. Now, I always thought that I was a night owl and I would conserve my energy during the day and then use energy drinks and stay up all night. That was my peace moment when everyone else is asleep. I'm up and working. But I realized that once I started fixing my sleep, what I would do in like 4 to 6 hours at night, I could do in 2 to 3 hours when I am fresh and energized. Okay, so what changed for me is that in the mornings when a lot of us get to work, and I've spoken to other artists who say that they are night owls, but do not actually fix the mornings for them, what happens is that we get up, then we doom scroll, or we go and we set up our space, we plan our list of work to do, or we try and get everything in order to get ready to work. And then that initial burst of energy is already spent. So then we hit a crash and then we feel a reluctancy to work. Then we are like, okay, I'll work after lunch or I'll work after dinner and push it. Okay, so what works for me is planning and setting up everything the previous day. So when I get to work, I have my highest energy output and I'm most efficient. And that's how I finish a lot of my artworks in just under an hour, in 30 minutes to an hour, as opposed to me taking 2 hours at night where I feel like I'm working harder, but I'm not. So just focus on fixing your sleep, getting enough. We all have enough time in the day to do things if we are more efficient with that time. And good sleep equals better efficiency. Let's move on to point number 3 is getting in some form of daily exercise or cardio. Now, I'm a gym person, okay? Even though I might not look like I look a bit skinny right now, but I love going to the gym and working out. And I used to cramp this entire thing into a 1 to 2 hour time block in the middle of the day where I'd go and lift a lot of weight, all of that stuff. But what happens is during the rest of the day, I'd just be glued to my desk and just making art all the time. And if you look at something like my steps, it would be like less than 5,000 a day. And 3,000 of those would be in the gym, you know? So my energy output was just used as a burst in the middle of the day. And honestly, I would not feel energized for the rest. And to give you an honest opinion, more energy in your life directly translates to more energy in your art. But once I started doing things like getting up and walking for 10 minutes after every hour, or just incorporating runs into my life and spreading out my energy and activity, my stamina increased, my endurance increased, the energy I have during the day, I don't have crashes in the middle of the day, I don't feel like procrastinating and pushing work till I need to desperately do it before I sleep or things like that. It all started balancing out and I'm a lot more energized and my days are just better overall. Now, point number 4 is to consume better input. Now, we've all heard the saying, you are what you eat. Similarly, you create what you consume. And I do not mean to change your interests and consume different things that are outside what you're comfortable in. I mean to change the quality of what you consume. For example, instead of short form content that you're just spamming, maybe watch a film that you do not get distracted by and watch for 2 hours and Learn the cinematography, look at the lighting, look at other things that inspire you. Or instead of in your break time, when again you go back to things like Reddit and you're reading stories, all that, read a book, read 10 pages during a break time, right? If you can read 10 pages in 10 to 15 minutes, that's great. You'll finish a book in maybe 2 weeks, and that's 2 books a month, and it's awesome. So you want to consume better quality input and not just allow yourself to be consumed by social media and other things out there. And you want to have more control over what you're feeding into your mind and being a bit more deliberate like that. So then you can take that control and feed it back into your art and get so many better ideas. Because honestly, when I read and I'm not fed all the information, my imagination just works so much more because I'm trying to visualize and build that world in my head without just being fed it completely and I'm just consuming it brainlessly, right? That is literally what brain rot does. So we want to reverse that and consume better input. And remember, you're an artist. Go back to romanticizing the small, mundane things in life. Okay, that's why I love watching Ghibli films. They just have random moments of water flowing down a stream or a leaf falling from a tree. I love that. That's what makes us artists, right? And point number 5 is to control your space. I do not mean clean up your space because I know a lot of us like working from an organized form of chaos. We work out of clutter and we know where everything is, and that's just our zone. But I mean control it so that you make it exactly as per your liking. Now, if you have a thought and you wish that, oh, maybe I could put a softboard up here, maybe I could put up all the artists' works that I look up to up on my wall, or maybe if I put up a mirror here, it'll be good for me to get hand references using myself as a reference. Be in control. You do not have to compromise when it is your own space because your environment controls you. So it's best to first control that space and be on top of it to make it the most optimized for you to make the best art ever. Like you should feel when you go sit at your space, you are at home. You should not feel that you are stressed and that okay, everything's a clutter, nothing is where I need it to be, where's the charger, none of my tablets are charged, all of that. And then you are already starting to work and make your art out of a stressful space. We want to make it feel like home. We do not want to make it feel just like a workspace because your best art is going to come from a place that feels the most comfortable to you and the most home-like, right? There's a big difference between a house and a home. So turn your workspace into that and make it like this beautiful place that you can really work out of wherever it is. Now, even if you are going outside to like a cafe or a different setup, have a nice collected backpack of things that you can take with you and you know you are comfortable with. Some of my friends who are traditional artists, they have this water-filled kind of brush pen that they can take and a small kit of colors that they've organized and a DIY kind of set that they can just take with a sketchbook. All of that they just made. For me, it's since I'm a digital artist, it's my iPad. It's a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. It's a power bank, things like that. So I have no worry, no stress when I go there. Another thing I like doing is making friends with the owners of the cafe so that when I go there, they know me. It's like a community. I know the people who are making my coffee. And they also know things like if my favorite table is taken, they will call me when it is available next and all those things. All these add into you controlling your space and making better art all the way through. Thank you guys so much for this video. Do check out my Patreon because I put up all my lessons that I teach on YouTube before there. And check out my Gumroad to get all my brushes, tutorials, lessons that you can download. You can also follow me up on Instagram and comment down my posts. I reply to all of them. And if you guys want me to make any certain video, leave them down in the comments below and I'll add them to the list. Now, thank you guys for watching and I hope that this was very helpful to you as these 5 things improve my life tremendously. And let's move on to the next one.